Welcome to McDonald's. What can I get you today?
Hi, she'll have the quarter pounder with cheese, extra mustard.
No pickles.
And I'll have a 10-piece chicken McNuggets. And 2 sides of ranch, please.
The we've done this before meal. Get it at McDonald's when you get 2 of your faves for just $5.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Single item at regular price.
I don't believe in witchcraft, but I've seen plenty of creepy things. We had just moved into our new house, and having a place to run around in was very fun. My sister and I grew up playing with the kids in our apartment complex, but from now on, it would be just us running around in the big house. The house has a bathroom all the way in the back corner, which is cool since I don't like people hearing me go to the bathroom. This particular time, I was ready to pee when I saw a blue figure floating on the top corner. It was about the size of a large dog, and it was looking straight at me. It was like a large jacket with the arms coming straight down. I forgot that I had to pee and ran straight for the front door, which seemed like the longest run of my life at the time. So much that I slipped on the brand new welcome mat that was in the front door. I was trying to catch my breath when I heard a bunch of things fall from inside the house. My parents were probably in the backyard or something, since they came running towards the front door from the side of the house. They asked if I was okay, and I said yes. My sister was in her room and said that she didn't hear anything. I was a very quiet kid and I didn't like to be made fun of, so I didn't want to tell my dad about the thing I had seen in the bathroom, but I told him anyway. He took me seriously and went to the bathroom to check it out. That's when he saw that the mirror door from our medicine cabinet had fallen down with a loud crash, as well as the small toothbrush cup and other random things that were in there. He asked me if I had done it, and I said no. He had a very serious expression on his face, and it made me feel a little worried. He asked me to go back outside with him, and I followed. Right by the entrance to the backyard from the side of the house, there was a small balloon-type thing on the floor. He asked me if I knew what that was. I told him no. He picked it up and poked it with a pocket knife, then dropped the ball. It looked like a juggling ball, except it was all red and looked fairly light. I never touched it, though. He said he stepped on it a little while ago and wanted to know where it came from. I found it kind of weird to be so obsessed with the little balloon thing, but I didn't say anything. He went to the car and came back with a lighter while I stood in the same spot. Then he grabbed the ball and I watched as the plastic rubber material started melting and the inside started to show. It looked like a bunch of maggots. He dropped the ball to the floor, holding the lighter down towards the thing. As the maggots, which I guess could have been Rice Krispies cereal, began to burn up, I saw that there was another thing in the middle of everything. As the dried maggots or Rice Krispies started to disappear, it started showing up. This I could identify easily. It was a coin. Some old-looking coin was the only thing that remained. He took it to show it to my mom, and then I never found out what happened to it or what it was for. I don't know if the thing I had just seen in the bathroom was connected to the ball, but many weird things started happening around the house, including sounds of footsteps. dead crows showing up in our front lawn, and even soap bars with holes in the middle appearing in the backyard. I literally have no idea what those things mean, and I'm looking for answers. It has been over 20 years since then, and my parents still live in the same house. Nothing too weird has happened since those events of my childhood.
Welcome to McDonald's. What can I get you today?
Hi, she'll have the quarter pounder with cheese, extra mustard.
No pickles.
And I'll have a 10-piece chicken McNuggets. And 2 sides of ranch, please.
The we've done this before meal. Get it at McDonald's when you get 2 of your faves for just $5.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Single item at regular price.
I was around 14 years old when this happened, so I was old enough not to be afraid of monsters hiding in the closet or under the bed. That makes this extra embarrassing for me since this is the first time that I share my story publicly. I was very interested in scary stories since I was a little kid, and I had the whole collection of scary stories to tell in the dark, encyclopedias, and printed articles that I got at school about scary events and legends. My mom never liked these books around the house. In fact, she once threw out one of my t-shirts because it had a skull on it. It was no surprise I started finding out that some of my books were going missing because of her. One night, around midnight, I was woken up by a bright light aimed right at my face. My bed is away from the window, but in my half-awake state, I thought that I was right by it. The light was so bright that I thought there was a police helicopter shining a light at me. Fully awake now, I sat up on my bed and realized that the light was coming from the closet. As soon as I realized this, the light started becoming dimmer and dimmer, until it turned into a tiny candlelight-like speck. But I could see it clearly. I was freaking out, so I rolled over and went straight for my door. I could see light underneath the door, so I knew my parents were still awake in the living room down the hallway. I ran so hard away from my room that I ran into the opposing wall of the hall, and my dad came running after me to see what was wrong. I told him what I saw, and he could tell that I was shaken up, so he went straight for the closet and started digging through it. He always believed this kind of stuff, especially since I've had other encounters before. He took out a box from the closet and opened it, only to find out about half of my collection of scary storybooks were in there. At first, I was happy that I had found them, but reality quickly set in. What was that light? And did it have something to do with the books? I'll never know. Every once in a while, I wake up thinking that I saw the same light, but I somehow figure out that it's a dream pretty quickly. I vividly remember the bright, blinding light from that one night. I've searched countless forums to see if I find similar stories, and I have, though they mention theories about alien abductions. I'm not entirely sure if that's what happened with me, but they definitely haven't happened often enough for me to be scared of anything that belongs outside of this world.
Welcome to McDonald's. What can I get you today?
Hi, she'll have the quarter pounder with cheese, extra mustard.
No pickles.
And I'll have a 10-piece chicken McNuggets.
And 2 sides of ranch, please.
The we've done this before meal. Get it at McDonald's when you get 2 of your faves for just $5.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Single item at regular price.
I'm a truck driver. Most of my trips take me all around California, but I mainly do loads and unloads between the north and south parts of the state. The desert at night is a peaceful setting, and I've gotten to know all of the exits along the 5 freeway. It was a long night. I was going to be early to my destination, and I would be forced to wait in line to unload. Whatever. It was better to wait outside of a warehouse instead of being parked along an old truck stop with dirty showers and clogged toilets. I think they were out of service this one night. This particular truck stop has a history, you see. I had been told in the break rooms of different offices before that this place, near Rosemary exit, is haunted. After so many hours on the road and lack of proper sleep, our imaginations tend to get the better of us. Maybe knowing that made the whole thing a little more uneasy. But I really didn't like the bathroom situation. At least that's what I told myself. If you've ever been inside of a truck before, there's usually 2 bunks. A small area where you can eat or read a book, regular outlets, and the driver and passenger seats. When you're sleeping on one of the bunks, you have easy access to a window that you can open up to get some air. I was in the bottom bunk when it happened. I was trying to fall asleep when I heard something hit the side of the truck. Like when someone's trying to wake you up to get you to move so they have room to move their trucks around. It happens often. I opened up the window and looked outside, but I couldn't see anybody. Then I heard the knocking again, this time on the other side of the truck. I moved up toward the seats to get a closer look at my mirrors, just in case I could catch a glimpse at something. But the sides of the truck were empty. Those mirrors give you a clear view all around except for the back part of the trailer, where the doors are. Then I heard a squeak. There were 2 other trailers parked quite a distance away, and I was sure it was neither of them. They're trying to open my trailer. I grabbed my baseball bat and flashlight, opened the door to the passenger side and aimed the flashlight at the bottom of the trailer to try and find a pair of legs or someone walking around, but there was nobody there. I stepped down and went around the back. My door was properly shut. Confused, I went back to the truck, locked both doors, and started up my engine. I wasn't going to stay there any longer. I guess I would be 3 hours early to the warehouse. I was coming down from one of the long curvy roads through the hills just before getting to the long stretch of desert when I saw something behind the truck. They were flashing red and blue lights. I was getting pulled over. I was going way under the speed limit since my trailer was loaded and I hadn't even stepped on the gas, since I was still moving with the momentum I gained from the hills. Maybe that was a problem. I did, and then went back to turn off my engine. They asked me if everything was okay. I asked them what the problem was. They asked me if I was by myself in the truck, and I said yes. That's when they looked at each other, and one of them, the taller one, asked if I could let him take a look around and for me to step down. I said sure. Having nothing to hide, I came down. and he went up the steps saying, "Police, hello?" I told the other officer that I was by myself, but he kept staring at me. I was more confused than anything, since they weren't being very clear with me. I asked the officer to tell me what they were doing, and that they couldn't go around doing this kind of thing to people, especially if they're just trying to work. It was freezing outside, too. Just as the other officer stepped down, the one I was talking to told me to give him a minute. The taller officer explained that the truck was empty and that he checked everything out. I was getting angry at the whole situation. I didn't understand what was going on. That's when they told me their reason. I wish they hadn't. The police cruiser was parked on the side of the road when I passed by, slower than usual. As I was driving by, both officers were caught by surprise when they saw a woman waving frantically at them from the passenger seat of my truck.
Welcome to McDonald's. What can I get you today?
Hi, she'll have the quarter pounder with cheese, extra mustard.
No pickles.
And I'll have a 10-piece chicken McNuggets.
And 2 sides of ranch, please.
The "we've done this before" meal. Get it at McDonald's when you get 2 of your faves for just $5.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Single item at regular price.
I have a tough time falling asleep in places that are not my bedroom. When I go on vacations, it takes me a few days to get used to the new places. Sleeping on buses or airplanes? Forget it. This time I had spent the night in an uncomfortable hotel by the center of town when I went to visit my girlfriend's family out of state. They're all very nice people, and I feel bad whenever I have to be around a group after not getting much sleep, because all I can think of doing is going to my bed and calling it quits. I wanted to grab a coffee, but my girlfriend was being weird about me drinking too much of it, so I skipped out on the iced coffee from McDonald's. It was around 3 p.m. anyway, so I probably made the right call. Otherwise, I'd end up twisting and turning all night again. We got to her grandparents' house, and I was greeted by a plate of bread and, yes, coffee. I gladly said yes to the coffee, but after taking a sip, I realized that it was sweetened. I take my coffee black because those sugar crashes are the worst. To not be rude, I took a piece of bread also, and my girlfriend's grandma was there to make sure that I ate it so that she could offer me another one. I was able to keep the conversation for almost 15 minutes before my eyes began to shut, and someone, I don't remember who, asked me if I was tired. I said yes, and that I hadn't gotten much sleep. They're older people, so they're used to taking naps, I guess. They asked me to go up to the bed in the unit that they have in the backyard, to which I said yes. I literally had no more strength in me to get picky about where I slept. The guest house has 2 stories, and the room was on the second one. Every single step I took tired me out even more, but I finally made it and fell flat on the bed without even taking off my shoes. I was woken up by high-pitched laughter, like an excited little kid running around. I turned my head toward the door and looked at the light from the window across from me. It was almost sunset. But then I saw somebody. The silhouette was not of some little kid, but rather a short, older man, covered in mud. He didn't move. He didn't say anything. This was not normal. It couldn't be real. What was more confusing, however, was that I didn't feel fear. I wasn't freaking out, though I did feel sick to my stomach, almost like wanting to throw up. The man disappeared sometime during the confusion when I scrambled for my cell phone. I'm not sure why I wanted it. I kept looking out for the man, starting to freak out finally. While staring across from the bed, I fell asleep again. I had a weird dream that I was being chased through a patch of trees, and then something grabbed my arm. That's when I woke up again. My girlfriend had opened the door and was standing by the door frame, telling me that they were going to have dinner and for me to come downstairs. I said okay, grabbed my cell phone and rubbed my eyes. It was 7 p.m. I was a bit pale when I stepped into the dining room, and my girlfriend asked me off to the side what was wrong. I briefly told her that I had seen something weird in the room upstairs. A man staring at me. It soon became a topic of conversation around the table, the family telling me of their own weird experiences in that room, and how some of them refused to use it. What they didn't know was that I went downstairs into the bathroom first to wash my hands and face. Apparently, my hands were so dirty that I dirtied up the bar of soap. I was about to rinse it when I noticed a dark patch on my left arm. I could almost peel it off. It was a crusty, weird-looking blob stuck to my arm. It came right off and then fell apart in the sink. It had dried up. It was mud.
Welcome to McDonald's. What can I get you today?
Hi, she'll have the quarter pounder with cheese, extra mustard.
No pickles.
And I'll have a 10-piece chicken McNuggets.
And 2 sides of ranch, please.
The we've done this before meal. Get it at McDonald's when you get 2 of your faves for just $5.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Single item at regular price.
Junkyards have a certain odd feeling to them. They're like a graveyard of cars that have been in car crashes, repossessed,